There are moments in life when a message appears before you, not by chance, but by a deeper law that governs the unseen forces around us. If you are hearing these words, understand this clearly. You did not stumble upon this message, you were led to it. Something within you, something ancient, powerful, and quietly persistent, has guided you here because you are standing on the edge of a turning point. And the next few minutes may well become the spark that alters the course of your destiny. You found this message because a part of you is tired of merely surviving. A part of you is tired of repeating the same cycles, living the same days, and settling for the same limitations. There is a deeper part of your mind, a higher intelligence within you that has grown restless with mediocrity. It is whispering, urging, insisting that you rise into the life you were truly designed to live. And that inner voice brought you here. There are no accidents in a universe built on law. When your mind reaches a new frequency, when your desires begin to sharpen and your spirit begins to stir, the world responds. Messages arrive, people show up, opportunities appear in the most unexpected ways. This message is one of those signals. It is a reminder that you are being prepared for something greater, even if you cannot yet see the full picture. Perhaps you've been struggling in silence, wondering if life will ever shift. Perhaps you've been fighting doubts, fears, or disappointments. But hear this truth, your struggles are not signs of failure. They are signs of preparation. Pressure creates strength. Challenges refine your character. Delays, obstacles, and closed doors are not there to break you, but to shape you into someone capable of carrying the success you were meant to experience. Your mind is the architect of your destiny. Every thought you permit to remain in your consciousness becomes a blueprint for the life you will live. If you think in fear, life will give you reasons to fear. If you think in possibility, life will open doors that once seemed unreachable. And if you think with faith, courage, and determination, no force on earth can restrain the power that begins to move in your favor. But knowledge alone is not enough. There comes a moment when you must make a decision, a moment like this. Will you continue as before, allowing the days to blend into one another? Or will you rise, seize your power, and take command of your life? Every great transformation begins with a single decision, a decision to stop waiting, stop doubting, stop hesitating, and step boldly toward the future that is calling your name. You found this message for a reason because your purpose refuses to be buried any longer. There is something only you can do, something only you can bring into the world. You were not designed to merely exist. You were designed to create, to influence, to uplift, to become a living example of what is possible when a human being chooses determination over doubt and faith over fear. So take this moment as a sign, a declaration from life itself, that your time has come. Your potential is awakening, your path is opening, the universe is aligning things in your favor, and from this moment on, nothing will remain the same unless you choose to remain the same. You found this message for a reason. Now honor that reason by becoming everything you were created to be. The first truth you must accept is that your desire led you here, even if you did not consciously recognize it. Every significant shift in a person's life begins long before the shift actually occurs. It begins with a quiet stirring in the mind, a subtle dissatisfaction with the present, a yearning for something more, something deeper, something greater. That yearning is not random, it is not accidental. It is the earliest sign of your inner power awakening. Even when you try to ignore it, even when you distract yourself, even when you bury it under routine or fear, it persists, it whispers, it pulls, it calls you upward. That whisper is the very force that led you to this message. Human beings rarely change when they are comfortable. Transformation begins in discomfort, in curiosity, in the feeling that life has more to offer than what you have allowed yourself to receive so far. And when that inner unrest becomes strong enough, when that small spark becomes a burning desire, life begins to align opportunities, messages, and turning points in your path. The simple act of finding these words is one of those alignments. The path that leads to your next level began long before today, but today you became aware of it. Today you realized that the message you needed arrived at the exact moment you needed it. There is an invisible law that governs the relationship between desire and opportunity. When a desire becomes intense enough, When it becomes more than a passing thought and grows into a dominating intention, it sends out a signal. That signal moves through your actions, your attention, your energy, and even your unconscious choices. It guides you without you noticing. You begin to look in new directions, listen differently, question differently, search differently. You begin to attract the ideas, people, and messages that match the direction of your desire. This is why you are here in this moment, reading words that seem to speak directly to you. They are not speaking to the surface of your mind, but to the deeper part of you that has been waiting for confirmation, for clarity, for a sign that your next step is not only possible but necessary. Every desire you hold contains within it the blueprint for its fulfillment. The moment you desire greater strength, life begins to present you with situations that require strength. The moment you desire greater courage, life begins to challenge you in ways that demand courage. And the moment you desire a better life, life begins to bring you the messages, teachers, and opportunities capable of transforming that life. Desire is not a wish. It is a command sent from your highest self. It directs the universe to prepare the path ahead. And when the timing is right, that path begins to reveal itself piece by piece, message by message, moment by moment. You are not here by accident. You are here because your inner desire is maturing into a decision, and every decision begins with awareness. This moment is that awareness. The realization that your desire has brought you to the first doorway of your transformation. There are no accidents in the mind of the universe, and the moment you understand this truth, your entire perception of life begins to shift. Every encounter, every obstacle, every breakthrough, and every message that enters your awareness arrives with purpose. Nothing appears randomly when a deeper law is at work. When your thoughts, emotions, and inner desires reach a certain frequency, life begins to respond with precision. It arranges circumstances, like pieces on a chessboard, guiding you toward the experiences necessary for your next stage of growth. This message found its way to you not by chance, but because your inner state aligned with it, called to it, resonated with it, and drew it into your path with the exact timing required for your evolution. The universe operates on laws as real and reliable as gravity. One of these laws is the law of alignment, which states that you attract into your life the things that vibrate at the same frequency as your dominant thoughts and emotions. When you think in patterns of fear and limitation, your life reflects fear and limitation. When you think in patterns of possibility, courage, and expectation, life begins to offer opportunities, insights, and synchronistic events that match those thoughts. And when your mind reaches a new level of readiness, when you become open, receptive, hungry for growth, life sends you messages that match your readiness. That is why this message appears now and not months or years earlier. You are not yet aligned with it. Now you are. The experiences you've gone through lately, the emotions you've felt, the questions you've asked in silence, and the doubts that have pushed you to search for meaning have all been part of your preparation. You may think you've simply been struggling, but in truth you've been shifting. You have been opening your mind to truths you once ignored, becoming sensitive to guidance you once overlooked, and reaching a point where the old ways of thinking no longer satisfy you. This inner shift changes your outward reality. It pulls new information toward you. It brings messages like this one to your awareness because the universe always responds to the level of consciousness you embrace. Nothing in life is random when examined from a higher perspective. Your path has been shaped by moments that seemed insignificant at the time, conversations that planted seeds, failures that redirected your course, disappointments that created space for new opportunities, and quiet reflections that awakened questions you could no longer ignore. These moments acted as stepping stones, guiding you to this exact point where a message of awakening could reach you. The universe does not deliver powerful truths to an unprepared mind. It waits until the mind is ready to receive, interpret, and act upon what it hears. You found this message in the same way a magnet attracts metal. Your inner frequency pulled it toward you because something within you is rising, expanding, and preparing for change. And because there are no accidents in the mind of the universe, this moment is not merely a coincidence, but a confirmation that your life is aligning in ways you are only beginning to understand. Your current struggles are signals, not setbacks, and the sooner you recognize this truth, the more power you gain over your life. Most people misinterpret difficulty as a sign that something is wrong, that they are failing, or that life is somehow working against them. But in reality, struggle is one of the most precise forms of communication the universe uses. It reveals where you must grow, what you must release, what you must strengthen, and who you must become. Nothing shapes character more effectively than adversity. Nothing sharpens focus more powerfully than pressure. And nothing accelerates awakening faster than the moments when life refuses to let you remain who you used to be. When you encounter obstacles, your first instinct might be to resist them, complain about them, or question why they appeared. But if you observe carefully, you will realize every struggle contains a message. Some struggles reveal the limits of your current mindset, showing you that you cannot enter your next chapter with the same beliefs that held you back in the last one. Other struggles expose habits that no longer serve you, pushing you to release the patterns that drain your potential. And some struggles strengthen emotional and mental muscles you didn't even know you possessed, preparing you for opportunities that require resilience and courage. Instead of viewing your current challenges as barriers, view them as signposts. They indicate the direction of your evolution. Just as a seed must break open before it can become a tree, your old self must break apart through pressure before your next level can emerge. This breaking is uncomfortable, but it is not a sign of destruction. It is a sign of transformation. The discomfort you feel is an indication that life is moving you forward, not backward. If you were meant to remain the same, you would not feel the tension you feel now. You feel it because you are outgrowing the limits of your old identity. When life places you under pressure, it is not because you are weak, but because you are capable of more. The challenges you face today are shaping the strengths you will rely on tomorrow. Every disappointment is building patience. Every rejection is building clarity. Every setback is building endurance. And every painful moment is constructing the foundation for a future you cannot yet see. What feels heavy now becomes the very weight that strengthens you. What feels frustrating now becomes the very lesson that elevates you. And what feels confusing now becomes the very wisdom that guides you. Struggle is a language. It communicates through discomfort, through uncertainty, through friction. It speaks to you through the things that challenge your spirit. And if you listen, truly listen, you will realize that every difficult moment is directing you toward a version of yourself that is more resilient, more focused, more disciplined, and more aligned with your purpose. Your struggles are not proof of failure. They are proof that you are being shaped for something greater than what you have known so far. Your mind is the greatest force in your destiny because it is the origin of everything you will ever become, create, attract, or experience. The world you live in is not shaped first by circumstances or conditions, but by the thoughts you allow to dominate your consciousness. Every belief you hold, every expectation you nurture, every idea you entertain forms the blueprint of your future. Long before success reaches your hands, it must first be built in your mind. Long before opportunity appears in your path, it must first be welcomed through your thinking. And long before transformation shows up in your life, it must first be invited through the power of your inner world. When you understand that your mind is not a passive observer but an active creator, you gain access to one of the greatest truths known to humanity. Thoughts are not random, they are forces. They shape your identity, mold your decisions, and direct your actions. A person who believes they are capable will act differently from a person who believes they are powerless. A person who expects success will see opportunities in places where others see obstacles. A person who thinks in abundance will approach life with openness, while a person who thinks in scarcity will shrink from possibility. Your thoughts influence your emotions influence your actions, and your actions create the results that form your reality. Everything begins in the mind. A mind does not distinguish between reality and imagination. What you repeatedly think about becomes familiar, and what becomes familiar becomes accepted as truth. If you constantly think of fear, failure, and limitation, your mind will treat these thoughts as instructions, shaping your behavior in ways that bring those experiences to life. But if you fill your mind with visions of strength, success, and purpose, your mind will direct your energy toward the fulfillment of those visions. You will begin to take steps, consciously and unconsciously, that align with the future you imagine. This is why the most powerful transformations happen internally before they manifest externally. The thoughts you choose determine the emotional climate of your life. A mind filled with worry will create a life filled with hesitation. A mind filled with doubt will create a life filled with missed chances. A mind filled with clarity and conviction will create a life filled with momentum. When you assume control of your thoughts, you assume control of your destiny. But when you allow your thoughts to run wild, driven by fear, shaped by past failures, influenced by external noise, you surrender your power to forces that do not have your best interest at heart. What you consistently think about determines who you become. If you desire a future marked by strength, growth, and fulfillment, you must cultivate thoughts that match that future. You cannot create a prosperous life with a defeated mind. You cannot build a powerful future with weak thoughts. Your mind must become the soil in which your greatest vision can take root. Every thought you plant grows into emotion, action, and outcome. And when you choose your thoughts with intention, you gain the ability to shape your destiny long before your destiny becomes visible to anyone else. You must make a decision at this very moment, because nothing in your life will change until your mind declares a new direction. Every turning point in human history, every transformation in an individual's life, every breakthrough ever experienced began with a single decision, not a wish, not a hope, not a vague desire, but a firm and definite decision. A decision is a command to your mind, a signal to the universe, and a line drawn in the sand between who you were and who you are becoming. It carries a power that nothing else can replace. Until you decide with certainty, life will remain in a state of hesitation, reflecting your own inner hesitation back to you. Most people drift through life waiting for the right moment, waiting for clarity, waiting for motivation, waiting for certainty. But the truth is, certainty does not come before the decision. It comes after. Once you decide that you will rise, doors begin to open. Once you decide that you will change, strength begins to appear. Once you decide that your life will no longer follow the same patterns, opportunities begin to align with your intention. Life responds to decisive minds. It ignores indecision because indecision is the absence of direction. Without direction, nothing can move toward you. The moment you decide, your mind reorganizes itself. It stops entertaining conflicting thoughts. It stops giving power to doubt. It stops allowing fear to shape your actions. A decision acts like a lighthouse in the darkness, giving you a point to move toward even when the path is unclear. With a true decision, you no longer ask whether change is possible. You assume it is. You no longer question whether you are worthy. You declare that you are. You no longer look at obstacles as threats. They become challenges to be mastered. A decision transforms confusion into clarity and weakness into resolve. What you are facing today is not a lack of opportunity, but a lack of commitment. Opportunity appears the moment commitment becomes real. The life you desire is already waiting, but it cannot reach you until you decide to claim it. A divided mind cannot create a unified outcome. You cannot want success but live by the habits of failure. You cannot desire abundance but think in patterns of scarcity. You cannot seek growth but cling to comfort. A decision is the moment when your thoughts, emotions, and actions align with a single purpose, and once they align, you become unstoppable. This message is not in front of you by accident. It is one of those rare moments when life asks you to choose. Will you continue drifting, repeating the same days, settling for less than you know you are capable of? Or will you decide right now that your life must change? A decision made in silence has the power to reshape everything visible. This is the moment when destiny waits for your command. You have a purpose that demands awakening, and the very fact that you feel restless, unfulfilled, or drawn to messages like this is proof that your purpose is trying to rise to the surface. No human being is created without reason. No life is accidental. Deep within you, there is a calling that belongs only to you, an assignment, a responsibility, a contribution that no other person on this planet can fulfill in the exact way you can. This calling does not shout, it whispers. It begins as a quiet feeling that you are meant for something more, something greater, something beyond the limits you have accepted. For years you may have ignored it, doubted it, or pushed it aside, but a true purpose never dies. It waits, it nudges, and when the time is right, it demands your attention. The reason you feel a pull toward growth, transformation, and self-discovery is because your purpose is activating. Life has placed reminders in your path, messages, experiences, and challenges, each one designed to bring you closer to the truth of who you are. You may think your struggles are random or your frustrations meaningless, but they are part of a larger process unfolding within you. Every disappointment you faced, every unanswered question, every moment you felt out of place has been shaping your awareness. They have been pushing you inward, guiding you toward the realization that you were not meant to live passively. You were meant to live intentionally. Your purpose is not just about what you do, it is about who you become. It requires endurance, courage, discipline, clarity, and integrity. It requires you to shed the layers of fear, doubt, and self-limitation that have kept you small. This is why life challenges you. This is why you face moments of uncertainty. This is why you sometimes feel lost. You are being prepared. Purpose does not emerge when everything is easy. It emerges when you grow strong enough to carry it. When the world inside you expands, the world outside you begins to align with it. There is a version of you that exists beyond your doubts, beyond your fears, beyond every story you have told yourself about what is possible. That version of you is not imaginary. It is your true self, waiting to be realized. Every step you take toward self-awareness brings you closer to it. Every moment you choose growth over comfort brings you closer to it. Every time you listen to your inner calling instead of your fear, you draw closer to the life you were meant to live. Your purpose is not a distant dream. It is a current reality waiting for your acknowledgement. You feel this message deeply because it speaks to the part of you that already knows the truth. You were not born to drift. You were not born to repeat the same cycles. You were not born merely to exist. You were born to contribute, to rise, to create, to lead, to inspire. Your life has meaning, and your purpose is ready to awaken the moment you decide to answer its call. When you look back at the journey that brought you to this moment, you will realize that nothing happened without meaning. Your desire led you here. The universe aligned the path before you. Your struggles shaped you. Your mind empowered you. Your decision awakened you. And your purpose called you. Every piece of this message has been a reminder that you are not drifting through life without direction. You are being guided, prepared, and strengthened for something greater than your current circumstances. You found this message because your spirit reached a point where it could no longer remain silent, where it needed truth more than comfort and growth more than familiarity. Everything you have heard points to one central truth. The power to transform your life has always been within you, waiting for acknowledgement, waiting for activation, waiting for you to step forward with intention. You are not powerless. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are in the perfect position to begin, and every lesson, every challenge, and every moment in your life has been preparing you to rise into the highest expression of who you are meant to be. Now the message is yours. Let it guide you, strengthen you, and awaken you. Carry it with you as you take the steps only you can take. The path is open. The time is now, and your life is ready to change the moment you decide to honor the reason this message found you.